Hello, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube and internet. This is Kane1371 coming to you through the awesome power of OBS, Open Broadcaster. Now, what I'm going to talk about tonight, actually, it's dark, as you can see. What I'm going to talk about tonight is a subject that I have been thinking about a bit because I have been having discussions with people in the past week about it. And the situation is like this. I, at heart, am a console gamer. I am right now 24 years old. 23? I have no idea actually if I'm 23 or 24. But I'm sorry. That's just me. Yeah, I guess I'm 23 years old. Yeah. I'm right now 23 years old. But when I started gaming, I actually started with the Atari 2600. Yeah, that was the system, the old one with the plastic body that looked like wood, or was it actually wood? I don't remember. I don't remember even that bit, but I remember that it just looked like wood, and it was it was phenomenal. I remember that I played 2 games on it all the time. One of them was River. The other one was, if I'm not wrong, it was Pitfall. I might be wrong. I also played Pong on it, but everybody played Pong on it. So yeah, and then there was after that there was this magical system, Famicom. Famicom. For me, those 2 systems were the systems that I started gaming with, and they were actually older than me. That's the fun part. Atari 2600, but several years. Famicom almost by 10 years, a decade older than me. I'm from '92, so I'm pretty young. But it was crazy. Okay, I played pool on Famicom. That was my favorite. I played a lot of pool, especially because my mother and my brother, those two played pool together. I also played Contra. I loved Contra, and I couldn't do the Konami code. You know, up down down. I guess left right. Left, right, A, B, something. I don't remember that. But it was really funny because I would sit and I wasn't hardcore. I was like 4 years old or something, or 3 years old. I would sit and mash the buttons until I could actually put the code in. I would just randomize the code. Like, it was crazy. I would sit like for 10 minutes and just mash these buttons till I could get the thing going. And I would do this because I couldn't play it on 3 health. It was just impossible for me. So I had to have that extra 27 health. I believe that when you had the coding, you had like 30 health or something. I had to have it. And I would sit and do that. The other games I played, this is all nostalgia kicking in for me. I normally try to keep it at bay because, you know, it's me, and I talk a lot. Was Ninja Turtles 1 and 2. Mutant Ninja Turtles. Was it 1 and 2 or something? They were hard, and I loved them. I genuinely loved them. And I don't know if those were on Super Famicom or not, because I remember that our Famicom died. We didn't have NES. We had Famicom because NES was Nintendo Entertainment System was in USA, but I lived in Iran, and we had Famicom instead. And the fun part about Famicom is that the Famicom, if you had Super Famicom, you could use your Famicom disc, a Famicom cartridge. I'm saying disc, but yeah, your Famicom cartridge inside that, and so we bought a Super Famicom, but at that time the Super Famicom cartridges were really rare. So mostly I would play still my Famicom games. There was this game that it's said to be it said that Red Dead Redemption. If you guys can see, I have actually a Red Dead Redemption poster there. It's dark in my room, so you cannot really see it clearly. But you know, Red Dead Redemption is said to be a kind of spiritual successor to that game, and we know that Red Dead Redemption is also a spiritual sequel to Red Dead Revolver or something. I haven't played that game actually, but I heard about it and read about it, and I almost wanted to play it, but I never played it. Anyway, forget that. I don't remember. I think it was Smoking Gun or something. It was an awesome game. Uh, I played so many games on NES. My entire childhood, literally, my entire childhood was NES games. I actually never played Metal Gear Solid on it. Metal Gear, not Solid, but Metal Gear on it. There are many games that I never played on it, but I also played like oh god, Ducktales. That music was crazy, and I actually didn't play Legend of Zelda on Famicom or Legend of Zelda 2 on Famicom. I played much later when I was older. I played the Link to the Past. I played Legend of Zelda. I haven't played 2. Unfortunately, I don't know. I just haven't. And yeah, I love them. So my entire childhood was that. And I was around 10 years old. I got my hands on a Mega Drive. Now, when I say I got my hands, that doesn't mean that I hadn't played Mega Drive. I loved Mega Drive, and we would just call it Sega in our country. We didn't call it Sega Mega Drive. We just called it Sega because we didn't have Master System, but we had Mega Drive. And I was 10 years old, so Mega Drive had been out for several years. It was like around 2001, 2002 when I got a Mega Drive. So I was still behind the curve. And I had played Mega Drive, as I said. I believe the game was called Road Rash or something. I love that game. I literally did. Other games that I played on Mega Drive that I played religiously was Moonwalker, Michael Jackson's Moonwalker. Now, that game was crazy cool, because I was crazy for Michael Jackson. We had this videotape that was Michael Jackson's anniversary or something. That crazy video that had like some crazy intros with Michael Jackson's statue and stuff like that. We had that on tape, and I was crazy about Michael Jackson. So that game, Sonic, I played them all, but I never had a Mega Drive. I had the Super Famicom. And I got Mega Drive actually right before I got a PlayStation. When I got a PlayStation, that was the first time that I would actually, it was the summer of that year that I got the PlayStation. It was the first time that I actually played 3D games. For most of us, it was either PlayStation or, Nintendo 64. At the same time, I also played on my mother's PC. She was one of the first, you could say, the first people that bought a PC, a Windows PC. Or actually, at the time that she had it was DOS, but then later she upgraded to Windows, obviously. And I had a Windows PC because of her work, and we played both on DOS when she had a DOS system, and also on PC. There were a few games that I played. I never forget that. And later on, we also I played sometimes on a PC. There were some games I barely remember. There were a lot of emulators that we played on. Those were really fun because they had games from Neo Geo and Commodore and all of those things that I had never had my hands on, so it was really fun. There were a lot of platformers on PC that I play. I really loved and stuff like that. But yeah, I got a PlayStation, and dude, guys, it's crazy. Many of you have experienced that with maybe Nintendo 64 or something like that. But for me, PlayStation, the whole intro, and I had a PS1, the slim version that was really sexy, really cool. And I played a game that I don't know if I have it actually around here, or if it's I believe that it's up there. Yeah, I think that it's up there. I actually have a disc of it. It was Ridge Racer. I have a video about it on my channel. That was crazy. At that time, that graphic was so unbelievable for me that when I got older, every time that I would sit and think about that game, I would think about how amazingly realistic it looked. And when I got my hands on a original disc, I was like, holy shit, man, I'm gonna play this and I'm gonna see why it was so realistic. I mean, well, of course, it wasn't realistic. I mean, it looks great even today, especially for its time, but of course, it wasn't realistic looking. It was polygons, lots of polygons and stuff like that. I played those games. I played X-Men 2, X2, it was called, I believe. I played that. It was a fighting game. It was really fun. I played a lot of games on PlayStation. Crash, of course. A game that I loved was CTR, the Crash Team Racing, or yeah, Crash Team Racing, I guess was the name. It was great. I played a lot of games, and then of course I moved to a PS2 the next year. So by that time I was actually catching up, and I was around 12, I guess, something. I don't know. And it was crazy. The jump was crazy for me, and I started with Prince of Persia. I believe was the first amongst the first games that I had. I don't know. I might be completely off here, but I remember that I played Prince of Persia. I had actually played Prince of Persia on PC before PS2, so I had already played it. So I might be completely off, but it was Prince of Persia, the Metal Gear Solid 3, I believe, was also amongst the first game. Yeah, I believe that it was there, because I remember that I hadn't had the system yet, but I had the game in my hand. So yeah, I might be wrong by a year or two or something. And I played on that. And then as I said, I gamed alongside on PC. I played a lot of strategies. I loved Generals series, Command and Conquer. I loved Age of Mythology, Age of Empires, all those things. Sims, I played a lot of those. I played Counter Strike. I played Far Cry on PC. It was crazy graphics. I mean, when I played Far Cry for the first time, I was like, oh my god, how much farther they can go. This is the best. There's nothing better than this. Well, you know, Crysis came after that, and then Crysis 2, Crysis 3, far better looking games, even better looking than Crysis. I mean, all those games, and this day I sit and I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna judge anymore. I'm like, yeah, I see Witcher 3 is like perfect looking, and it's Geralt looks great, and yeah, something's gonna come out that's gonna definitely look better than that. I'm not gonna say that it's gonna be the best and nothing can top that anymore. But yeah, so it was crazy for me. And during the PlayStation 2 era, I moved out of Iran right before PS3 would be released, around 2007 or 2006, yeah. And so I had played pretty much a lot of PS2 games, and I remember that when I came out, I bought God of War 2 for my PlayStation to play, and I had played God of War 1. Yeah, I know I was too young, but dude, bam, that game, awesome. I played God of War 2, great game, and then God of War 3 came to PS3, and I played on that too. But the thing that was really crazy for me was that during the PS2 era, I played a lot of games. I played so many fucking games. It was crazy. And I would basically go in the shop, and because I was in Iran, and the systems would actually come through, chipped. We couldn't buy the original copies because of the sanctions and stuff like that. The games do not come, and if you see a game in the shop and you want to buy it, it will cost. Wow, it's like gonna be so expensive. It's not. You cannot even afford to pay for that. A normal person wouldn't be able to pay for that amount of money that they would ask for an original game. But I had played everything, and of course it was bootlegged and all of that. But that was the situation that I had. But yeah, when I came out, so it was all different. And yeah, so I played a lot of games during the PS2 era, and I started playing a lot more PC games at the same time because I had started to. I was introduced to a lot of awesome games by my brother, who didn't have a console. He had a. He played on PC sometimes with his friend. He didn't even have a PC for gaming himself. Um, but yeah, I played those games a lot. I remember when I played Shadow of Colossus on PS2. I actually cried for some of the giants, for some of the colossi. Colossi? Are they called colossi? I don't know. For some of the creatures, and I know many people did. The whole game was so crazy, and all the time I was like, "Man, this is gaming. This is awesome," and all of that. And I'm saying all this because I'm explaining how my gaming background looks like. So I played a lot of games, and then I moved out. I moved to Sweden. I started gaming some more. I stopped gaming for a while and then started gaming after a year or so. I think it took around a year. I started gaming more. I got a PS3 late 2010, if I'm not wrong, or 2009 actually. Yeah, late 2009. I had played PS3 before, as I said. It's not like I hadn't played a Mega Drive before I got a Mega Drive, or I hadn't played a PlayStation before I got a PlayStation. I would play games all the time. I was crazy about them. But yeah, I was like, holy shit, dude! I totally have to get a PlayStation 3 because I had played some of the games and I was like, man. And if it's not obvious, I was a huge PlayStation fan by that time. PS1, PS2, my greatest time as a gamer. While, as I said, Famicom was my childhood, PS1 and PS2 literally was my teenage years, the start of my teenage years to the end of my teenage years, you could say. And so I definitely wanted a PS3. Through lots of hardships, we got a PS3 because it wasn't cheap. It wasn't cheap at all, especially for us at that time. Um Even today, if PS3 would come out again with the price tag that it came out, it wouldn't be cheap, not at all. Um, but yeah, it came out, and I really wanted it, so I got it late 2009. The price was dropping, but by that time, and it was again the start of the whole crazy train. The awesome games that I played. To this day, I do not think that I have played a better game from the past generation. I believe it was seventh generation than Bayonetta and Nier. Those two games. I know that this is blasphemy to some. I loved a lot of those games from a lot of games from the seventh gen. Like, for God's sake, The Last of Us. That game is crazy. But I just loved Bayonetta for its crazy music, crazy story, crazy fighting systems, the whole idea. I mean, I know that the idea wasn't new, but it was just crazy. And Nier, because the story was one of those stories that I just loved. So I gamed a lot on PS3. I gamed a lot. And I gamed on Xbox 362. I never bought an Xbox 360 uh, after my first failure. Uh, my system died really fast, and I never bothered to go back. But I did play some of the games that I really looked forward to, and one of them was Alan Wake. To this day, whenever I want to talk about a awesome Xbox console exclusive, if you want to use that term now, um, I talk about Alan Wake. That game was amazing. I myself was not a fan of Halo. I respect, I respected old Halo games because what they would do through the multiplayer. It's crazy world when you go to the Halo multiplayer, Halo 3, Halo ODST, Halo Reach. Those multiplayers are just crazy. All the modes and everything. We would sit and LAN with my friends, um, and play Halo through the night, whole weekends and stuff like that. And it was just crazy. I loved it. I really loved it, even though I didn't like Halo as really much because I had played Halo 2, I had played Halo 1, the campaign, and I just wasn't fond of it. What can I say? I played Gears of War. I liked the first Gears of War, Gears of War, and I had played some Xbox games. I never actually got around to play Crackdown. I always wanted to play Crackdown, so I forced my friend to buy it, and I would camp at his house to play Crackdown. With I did a lot of gaming on Xbox, not that, even though I didn't own it. And I always had my own problems with the system, but that was important because I was enjoying the games. And then it was around 2012, if I'm not wrong. I was playing this awesome game, Skyrim, and I had, I guess, maybe around 100 hours of gameplay, and my PS3 died. YLOD, and I actually have the system to this day with the disc inside it. I didn't want to break the disc out because I wanted to fix the system one day. I have a lot of files on it and stuff, music that I would like to get back, but I never got around to do it. I believe that the problem was with the power box. I had a old 60 gigabyte backward compatible PS3, so it was actually amongst the first consoles that was released. So it lived 6 years, and after 6 years it passed out. I had it for 3 years or 4 years. And yeah, it while loaded, and I was suddenly left without my PlayStation. I wasn't going to buy another Xbox. I wasn't going to buy another PlayStation 3 either. I decided to go full ahead and build a gaming PC. And I had just recently received some money, so I was like, yeah, why not? So I put my money down and built a PC with a fairly okay graphic cards. I didn't have a lot of money, but I had enough money to know that my PC is gonna last me at least for 5 years. Even if I didn't upgrade, I could still play games at medium at least. And 2015 proved me right when I got MGS5, and MGS5 would play on high settings with a GTX 660 that I had. 2 GB GTX 660. I got a Pentium G something processor, but I bought a i7 3770K, 3770K, I believe. Yeah, the clock cable version. Processor the year after, or 2 years, the year after actually, less than a year, I believe. To fix the bottleneck that I had with my Pentium processor. I mean, Pentium, come on. And so I started PC gaming at that time. And the reason that I started PC gaming was because I simply wanted to build a system I, I, to play Generals 2. And that was the reason I didn't have a system that could play Generals 2. And of course, Generals never came to be released. The game was scrapped, thank God, because I would rather the game die than destroy my fun memories of the old games. So I built the system around that. And then it just got crazy. I started actually gaming more than just for Generals 2. And so I went through this whole journey of gaming. The entirety of the time I was just gaming. I would take part in the console wars during the 7th gen on N4G and on forums and stuff like that, not on Facebook. And I would fight with people over stuff that doesn't really matter. But that was how it was. And I wasn't okay. I was okay with it, actually. It was a fun time. We did a lot of fun stuff. We would debate, we would talk, we would argue with each other about stuff and things like that. So I had a fun time, and I loved the games that I played. I don't think that I will ever stop wanting Rockstar to bring Red Dead Redemption to new consoles or PC, because god damn it, I want to play that game again. I played that game, and I want to play it again. I really loved it. And if it was up to me, I would be willing to play all my games on my PC. But when the PS4 came out, when it was coming out, I was looking at it. I had been PC gaming for 2 years, and I was PC gaming, like hardcore PC gaming, for 2 years, and I was looking at the stuff that was presented with the new consoles. And of course, my system was stronger, somewhat stronger, because the PlayStation 4 graphic card is almost as powerful. It's as powerful as a 660, you could say. And I was really interested. And me personally, I have far more trust in the games that Sony pushes out, that I'm gonna like them. That's just how it has been. I knew that I liked Sony games when I bought PS3. I knew that I liked Sony games when I bought a PS4, and I bought them because I wanted the Sony games. Now, the amount of Sony games that I have played on PlayStation 4 are actually a lot. Some people would like to say that PlayStation doesn't have games or call me liars, but that's them. I played a lot, and that's cool. That's actually cool because the games are fun. Am I as naive as the time that I played on PlayStation 2, even PlayStation 3? Definitely no. I am now trained to see the flaws. I see the problems. I see when I'm playing Killzone Shadowfall. I see the frame drops. I see it and I hate it. I see the frame drops when I'm playing games that, like, let's say Bloodborne, when the monster comes in and it's gonna get you, and I see the frame drops, and it's something that I'm like, oh yeah, it's happening, but yeah, the games are fun, so I'm playing them. I try to block all the stuff that could bother me. Could bother me and make me be like, oh man, why this game was like that, and why is the system so shitty? The system is not shitty. Actually, I think that PlayStation 4 is somewhat of a good system. Is it as good as a PlayStation 3? Not in my opinion. PlayStation 3 was really something for its time. Uh, but it's a really good system. So, what I'm gonna get to now, I talked about my background as a gamer on consoles. As I said, I now game on PCs mostly, and I have a hefty catalog of games on my PC, like a lot. But there have been some talks about PC, why PC gaming in general, and there have been many misinformations that go around. The thing is that when you think about PC gaming, it's not something that you would think like, man, this is gonna be fun. And people normally talk about PC gaming as this, that yo, you're gonna buy a PC, you're gonna pay $1,200, you're gonna have to upgrade in 2 years, you're gonna be having problems with the bad game ports and stuff like that. And I'm sitting here like, hmm. Well, here's the thing. Thing with price is that PC definitely is not a cheaper start. You could build a $300 PC that would outperform a PlayStation 4. Definitely could. There is no question about that. It has been proven. But then you have to build it yourself. You cannot buy a $300 PC and expect it to uh, work as well as a PlayStation 4, because those PCs that you buy pre-made, pre-built, are practically shit. They're just shit. You could get there are some websites that would build a PC for you, a custom-made PC for you, but they normally take a little bit extra money for assembling the system and all of that. But when it comes to the gaming on PC, I have to say that in the recent years, it has been great. And you can see it actually when you have all these Japanese companies, okay, Japanese developers releasing their games on PC. This didn't happen 10 years ago. And the reason was that it was harder to develop for PC for some reason, I guess. There wasn't a unified figure, a unified public. It was really easy to crack the games. It's really easy to crack the games, but they didn't believe that there are actually enough people buying stuff. It was also, yeah, they didn't believe that people would be buying stuff. And around the turn of the decade 2010, you could see that more and more games are starting to come to PC too. And that was the start of it. And the reason was that Steam had become really huge by that time, really huge. Steam that started before 2000, I believe Steam started around 2004, if I'm not wrong, or something like that. Steam as the the whole shop thingy started that time, if I'm not wrong. I could very well be wrong, but if my memory serves me right, and it wasn't that big, and it got bigger and bigger and bigger, and around that time it was huge, and of course it's huge, even bigger now. PC gaming as a whole is having a bigger revenue than console gaming, of course. Steam has a huge amount of user base. They make lots of money. They make so much money that they don't need to make games anymore. Valve doesn't need to make games anymore, and we have seen it. They basically are keeping quiet on their own games maybe they are not making any games. Maybe they are just keeping quiet to let people speculate and then come out be like, wow, Half-Life 3, wow, Portal 3, and stuff like that. And as we all know, Gaben cannot count to 3. But yeah, so PC gaming became really popular. It became more popular. It wasn't anymore. It wasn't anymore just a place for World of Warcraft and MMOs. And the transition was happening. Some MMOs started coming to consoles, and some PC games started coming to consoles because console gamers wanted those games too, and vice versa. Console games started going to PCs, and suddenly we had Final Fantasy and Metal Gear Solid being released or announced for PC, and that is big. That is huge for guys that game on PC. They know that those games wouldn't normally come to PC. It would take years for them to even come close to PC, and normally they wouldn't have a good port. That was a problem. But then, as I said, Steam happened. But yeah, PC gaming as a whole has been great in the past 10 years. I could say since 2005, it started getting better and better and better. I mean, bigger and bigger and bigger than ever before. And we all know that PC started being the platform that was ahead and doing great graphics by the turn of the century. By 2000, PC had started doing crazy 3D graphics that consoles would be like, what? Like, what is that? Doesn't exist in our world. And that was because consoles were behind at that time, even though consoles were ahead just a few years ago before that. But yeah, PC started to be this giant monster that would make these games that people would be looking at and like, oh my god, what is that? And it just became crazy. PC gaming as a whole has been huge, and the problems are almost gone. The amount of games that actually come out with serious problems nowadays are down. The most recent one was Arkham Knight, and that was just one big mess. It was bad on all systems, but PC got the worst. It was just a mess. Warner Bros. Messed up the entirety of the release, and that wasn't on PC. That was on Warner Bros. They even admitted it themselves, as far as giving you a refund, no matter what. You would get a refund on that game because they knew that the game was shit. And the game was mediocre too, so it wasn't like the game was good but the port was bad. The game was mediocre too, so it was all, a big mess. But yeah, that's how it has been. The games worked well. We have had Windows systems that actually this time around are working well with games. 8.1 for me was one of the greatest Windows systems, Windows operative systems ever. I didn't change to Windows 10 because I was happy with Windows 8.1, and then one day I was like, okay, I'm gonna change to 10, and then I reverted back to 8.1 because I liked it. I liked 8.1 better. So the systems have been working really well. Old games are working well. It's just a swell, and in the long run, you are actually saving a lot of monies. And you could say that the reason that PC gaming got really big, except Steam itself, was the EA sports, especially StarCraft and League of Legends. Those two got people really excited for themselves. I mean, for themselves. Those two games were really exciting for people that would watch them and be like, man, I want to play that game. Dota 2 was amongst them, and then Dota 2 came out, and all of those things. So these things also helped a lot. But when you look at it in today's world, gaming on PC has not been easier in a decade, I could say. In the past decade, it hasn't ever been this easy. You get your game, you install it, and you play it. You have a problem, you can contact the customer support. Steam has been improving its customer support. Origin has a great customer support, even though its system I do not like the Origin itself. Uplay has a pretty decent customer support. Good Old Games has a great customer support. You could go to them. You don't like them, you could go to the fan base, and that's the best part about PC. The fan base is there, and they're always willing to help you. You could go to any discussion forums on Steam, and there would be thousands of people talking to each other, trying to help each other out if they have any problems. Like, let's say that you have a problem that you start your game and for some reason your game just comes out on half the resolution that it's supposed to come out, let's say. I don't know, whatever. And there are people that ask you a few questions and you're ready to go. And maybe some people would find that bothering. I personally don't, because I just don't. I normally do not have these kind of problems to begin with, so I didn't have to ever go around and fix it. I have these kind of problems when I'm dabbling with other kind of softwares, but games, no, never. So why PC gaming? Because it's actually much simpler now. It's just great. Well, on consoles, I have to sit down, wait for them to download the game, and then install the game. I'm actually much faster on my PC nowadays. I can download the game really fast and be in it. Normally it takes me 10 minutes to get into the game if I haven't even downloaded the game, no matter how big the game is. It's just the way it is nowadays. Steam servers are perfect. Nothing comes close to them. Nothing. They haven't been down ever. Like in I cannot remember the last time Steam servers were down. Xbox Live goes down, PlayStation Store goes down, PlayStation Network goes down, and it's understandable. They have I don't know. They are under more pressure, I guess, from the outside attack for some reason. I don't know. The servers work great. The games are easy to get to. There are so many different ways, different options for you. You can buy from Steam. You can buy from third-party retailers. You can buy from second-party retailers like GOG and Green Man Gaming and stuff like that. You can buy from Origin. You can buy from Uplay. You can buy from Rockstar, for God's sake, nowadays. There are all these different places with different prices, and normally 9 out of 10, it's always cheaper on PC. Always. You could actually go and buy the latest games at least half the price of what you would have to pay on consoles. At least half the price. And I have heard this talk about the unified ecosystem of the consoles. Like Xbox is unified, all games on Xbox are all connected to Microsoft, all games on PlayStation are all connected to Sony, and that something like this doesn't exist on PC. I wouldn't say that it doesn't exist. As I said, Steam is the biggest thing ever. It's bigger than PlayStation Network, it's bigger than Xbox Live, it's bigger than Origin, it's bigger than Uplay, it's bigger than any one of them. And then there's definitely a unified world of PC gaming and unified ecosystem, and then there are also other ecosystems that you could go into. I don't know what to call them. That you could go to and still be under, if you want to have a big brother, be under that, be controlled by them or whatever. So that does exist definitely. So it's really weird. I mean, as I said, PC gaming is not like the start of 2000s or 2000 to 2005 or 2000 to 2000 and even let's say 9 or 10, where you would have all these games coming out. You would have all these games coming out and they would just come out as the games. Right now, normally when you buy a game, it's either on Steam or it's on Origin or Uplay. And you either have to deal with Steam, which is the biggest of them, or Origin or Uplay. And it's normal, the old feeling. I mean, I had that feeling when I would compare my games on, like, let's say PlayStation 2 or PlayStation 3 to my games on what's the name, PC. I would have this feeling that the PC is a bit disconnected from the whole world because, as we all know, PC is not a primary gaming system. It is a multimedia system, you could say. It does many things, and many people do not use it for gaming to begin with. But many people do use it for gaming, and that's the thing. So we have that ecosystem too. We have actually, I would say that really good customer support on PC, and then we have really good community on PC. Normally, you find help from your customer support. If you do not get help on your customer support, there's definitely help on in the community. There is no question about it. There's definitely help coming your way. And then we have the other reason that I personally think that PC gaming is really good, and that's that I just can sit and fix it to my liking. Do I want to have a bigger field of view, a wider field of view? I just fix that. Do I want to have a higher field of the depth of field? I can't even talk right now. Do I want to have a better depth in the field? Oh my god, I cannot even come up with the name. I don't remember the name. Fuck it. I can change everything. Do I want to have different mods on the game? I can do that. All these small things that really makes PC gaming a different experience. Simply, these are the reasons that I became the hardcore gamer. I mean, think about it. Most of those games that are coming out on consoles right now that are indie games, they all started as some kind of mod to another game. One of the most popular one of them is DayZ. It was a mod, and when you think about the power that you have, the opportunities, and it's also that on the PC world I have been introduced to so many different kind of games, not different kind of genres, because those genres did exist, but different kind of games, like with different kind of mindsets, and that would be harder if it wasn't for PC, because PC is an open source. There is no restriction to what you can release on it. That's something that doesn't exist to this day on consoles. Something that is good. I think that it restricts to the point that some people find it really hard to release their games on those consoles, and that's a shame. So there are so many reasons to do this. I mean, to be a PC gamer. But if I was to choose one, would be the indies. What I talked about right now, the chance to find great games. Recently, Banner Saga was released on PlayStation 4. This game is a gem. It came through Kickstarter. It was released on Steam, and it's a gem. And I cannot imagine if this whole indie era hadn't kicked in, that games like that wouldn't exist. I cannot imagine that world. So for me, the reason that PC gaming became the most important part of my life, even bigger than my console gaming, I'm still a console gamer at heart. I still love PlayStation games. I also love Nintendo games. I also love some of the Xbox games. But the reason for me to become the PC gamer was that I just had these gems that I wouldn't normally play if I was on a console. And then also everything else. The cheaper games, the unbelievable, amazing community that you will get with it. I mean, it's just crazy. It's an experience that, unless you do not get in with it, you will not be able to understand. And it's easy to sit at the side and look at it and be like, no man, this is not the way it is. Blah blah blah. This is the way it's filled with elitist scum and pirates and stuff like that. But the facts are that it hasn't been better. It hasn't been not better, but it hasn't been easier, more comfortable, more awesome ever before to be a PC gamer. And that's why I game on PC. Because do I want to have a really good secure server when I play my games? Definitely go on PC. I am playing Modern Warfare, Call of Duty for Modern Warfare on PC. Not a single cheater. I cannot do that on my consoles. I couldn't do that when Modern Warfare 2 came out. Modern Warfare became a hack feast. Hackers everywhere. Other games that are prone to be hacked, yeah, sure. H1N1, I believe, H1Z1 or something. The game by Sony. It was started by Sony. I don't think it's Sony that has it anymore. The zombie survival game. It was filled with hackers. Filled with hackers. They didn't do the right thing from the start, and the game was filled with hackers. But the servers are more secure. The ease of use is just crazy. As I said, I could start downloading if I, let's say, if I had two games the same month. Actually, I got, I believe that I got Metro games on PlayStation Plus, and I have them on Steam. I'm pretty sure that I could start downloading them at the same time, and the Steam version would be finished long before I would be done with the PlayStation version. Just the servers are far better. The speed is up. Everything works perfect. You can't use your own preferred controller, use your own preferred hardware, everything. And then you have the other plus, and that's the visuals is crazy better. It's much better when you compare them. Every single game looks far better and performs far better. And if anybody tells you that frames per second does not matter, do not believe that. Do not believe that. The higher the frames are, the better the experience are. And one of the reasons that we love those old games was because many of them actually would run at 60 frames per second. It was at the seventh gen when the whole thing started to crumble and become more and more 30 frames per second or lower, because the jump was far ahead and the hardware was gimped. So do not believe that. Definitely do not believe that. Frames do matter. Resolution, I could argue that it doesn't matter as much as frames, but it's still important. It helps the immersion. That's one big thing for me. When I play a game, I want to be immersed in it. It's just like when I read a book. If I read a book and it doesn't have good it doesn't have good imagination. It doesn't paint the picture for me. Well, I wouldn't be. I wouldn't be. I wouldn't enjoy it because I want to be immersed in that book. That's why I love Tolkien's Lord of the Rings, because it's just great. It paints the world for you and you love it and you see it and you're like, I'm living in that world. That's why at the same time I also love Witcher and Skyrim because they look great. I hope as good as they could. So all these things do matter. Now, do I think that the console games are peasants? Definitely not. Do I think that there are peasants amongst console gamers? Sure. Do I think that there are idiot elitist peasants amongst PC gamers? Yeah. There's no question about that. There are idiots everywhere. There are idiots everywhere. But don't forget that the most important part is the gaming part. And for me, in the past 5 years or so, it has been on PC. I have been enjoying it. It just works far better. So that was my 2 cents. A very long ass video, lots of ramblings and stuff. But I hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you liked it, press the like button, the thumb up, subscribe or whatever. Leave a comment, ask a question, and I'll be seeing you guys around later.